This video is a simple instructional guide to installing your perfectly warm floating floor heating system. Please refer to the Calorique Perfectly Warm Floating Floor Heat Installation Manual for a comprehensive and detailed installation instructions. Calorique's Perfectly Warm Floating Floor Heat is the perfect solution for heating laminate, engineered wood, and floating floors. It is a flexible radiant heating film that is installed below floating floor materials to create warm, comfortable floors, providing either supplementary or primary heat. Before installing your perfectly warm floating floor heat product, please read the installation instruction manual. If you are unsure of any of the instructions, please contact our technical helpline at 1-800-922-9276 or 1-508-291-2000, and we will be happy to assist you. The Calorique Perfectly Warm Floating Floor Heat System is made up of 4 major components: the heating panels, the wiring, the control device, and the floor structure. You will require the following accessories to complete the installation. 1. The Calorique Perfectly Warm Underfloating Floor Heating System and its attached factory connections and installation manual. 2. A polyester vapor barrier and foam insulation. 3. A thermostat control with floor limit sensor. 4. Adhesive tape and Romex wire. 5. Kapton insulating discs. 6. Junction boxes and the necessary installation tools. 7. An ohm meter. These components work together to create a system that will provide comfortable, trouble-free heating. 8. The selection and installation of each component is very important to the system's overall safe operation. The perfectly warm underfloating floor heat system can be installed on any standard subfloor, so long as it is flat, smooth, and free from any objects such as nails, screws, and other loose objects. Designing your heating system. When designing the heating system, care must be taken to ensure that proper clearance is maintained from fixtures which may be part of the floor. Calorique heating panels must be installed so that they will not be covered even in part by decorative trim, baseboards, or other structures on the floor. Note: heating panels which are covered by other structures may overheat. Electrical wiring in the floor, other than that for the heating system, must be at least 2 inches away from the heating panels and or separated from the heating panels by insulation or the building structure. Similarly, for heat sources such as hot water pipes, stoves, fireplaces, wood stoves, etc., at least 8 inches of clearance must be maintained. System layout. It is good practice to plan your installation using a sketch, marking your layout pattern and planning the positions for floor sensor, electrical mains connection, and thermostat. Use the sketch within the installation manual as a guide. Note that the thermostat should be located on an interior wall where it will not be subjected to direct sunlight, and that the length of the non-heating leads is taken into account. Please ensure that non-heating leads will not cross over any heating elements. Job site preparation. Before work can proceed, all electrical wiring that will not be accessible after installation of the heating system must be completed. This may require coordination with the electrical contractor. Thoroughly clean the existing floor area of any objects. Lay the underlayment foam or insulation sheet, making sure to cover the whole floor even on heated areas. This will minimize the heat loss and ensure quicker heat-up times. Tape the long edges using adhesive tape. In rooms with concrete subfloors and potentially high heat losses, like conservatories, consider using a double layer of insulation board. Insert the floor limit sensor conduit into the previously prepared recess in the floor and tape into position. Installation. Preparing the heating element. If you are installing cut-to-length elements, you first need to prepare them for use. Cut elements to length. 1. Using the diagram you made earlier, cut the heating element to length using scissors. Cut only through the clear area between the heating stripes. Never cut closer than 1/4 inch to the heating stripes, and do not cut into the heating stripes themselves. 2. Insulate the cut ends of the bus bars opposite the connectors with Kapton discs. Installing the heating panels. 1. If installing perfectly warm floating floor heat over concrete, using standard practices, unroll and seal the polyethylene vapor barrier over the entire floor surface. 2. Unroll the 1/4 inch rigid foam over the entire floor and seal it according to the manufacturer's instructions. 3. The perfectly warm floating floor heat film can be positioned in place and simply rolled out to provide maximum floor coverage according to your design layout. 4. Leave a minimum 2-inch gap from wall. The installed heating panel surface should be smooth and free from any ripples or creases. 5. Firmly attach the heating elements to the floor. Installing the junction boxes. 1. Install a junction box for the thermostat control device, according to the manufacturer's instructions. This box should be located unobstructed on an inside wall so that the device reads accurately. 2. Install a 4x4-inch junction box for making the electrical connections between the elements and the thermostat. 3. Notch or drill the plate directly beneath the junction boxes to allow proper routing of the non-heating leads. Connect the elements. Route the wires to the junction box provided for the thermostat. Instructions for when installing thermostat floor sensor. 1. Tape the floor sensor to the underlayment in an area at least 2 inches from any heated black part of the heating panel. 2. Route the sensor lead to the thermostat junction box. 3. To finish the installation, the heating panel must be covered with a polyester vapor barrier to provide optimum moisture and additional mechanical and electrical protection. Simply roll out the vapor barrier across the entire floor. Cut to length and overlap adjacent pieces by a minimum of 4 inches. 4. Unroll and seal a layer of polyethylene vapor barrier with duct tape over the floor surface, including the heating element and wiring. Inspection, testing, and completion. A visual and electrical check must be performed on the heating panels prior to activation. The heating test may be required by the laminate manufacturer based on the type of subfloor being used, for example, concrete. Always check with your laminate manufacturer for any restrictions and/or requirements that they have concerning the use of their product in conjunction with floor warming systems. Visual inspection. When visually checking the Calorique perfectly warm floating floor heating panels, look for any signs of damage, wear, or scratching that might have occurred during the installation. Note: if any portions of a panel appear damaged, replace the entire panel. Conduct an electrical test. For conducting a resistance check across the supply leads, use an accurate ohm meter in order to detect any short or open circuits. Note: all the electrical wiring should be completed by a registered electrician. When testing for heating, install control devices and connect to the electrical panel box. Install and wire the control device, according to the manufacturer's instructions, in the junction box. Wire the floating floor heating panels to the control according to the manufacturer's instructions using the 12/2 Romex wire. Turn on the breaker and adjust the thermostat so that it is calling for heat. After the system has been on for several minutes, run your hand over the heating panels to ensure that they are warm. Note that the panels will not become hot, but will generate a low, comfortable warmth. If the elements do not become warm, double-check all wiring and re-perform the electrical tests above after turning off power at the breaker. Fill out and complete your documentation. The checklist and system registration card records vital information about the installation you have just made and must be filled out in full. Return the bottom copy to Calorique to register the installation. The other 2 copies are for the homeowner and the installing contractor, respectively. The operating manual lists detailed information about the heating system. To complete the final installation. 1. Install the flooring according to the manufacturer's instructions. 2. Attach system labels. The small label must be attached to each thermostat controlling a heated floor. The large label must be attached to the breaker box and the circuit number of each circuit breaker controlling a heated floor noted. 3. Re-perform the electrical testing to ensure that the elements have not been damaged during installation process. If they have been damaged, please follow the guidelines noted to remedy the situation. 4. Turn on power at the breaker box, set the thermostat, and enjoy warm, comfortable floors. The installation is now ready to receive the final floor covering. Avoid any unnecessary foot traffic over the area until the final floor covering is laid. For additional information, please visit www.calorique.com.